Okay, so you know the animal kingdom from cartoons, right? The one from all the storybooks? Well, that's kind of like the highlight reel, the G-rated version. But nature isn't always cute and cuddly. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the weird, the wild, and sometimes the flat-out shocking truth about the creatures we share this planet with. First, we'll bust some myths you probably think are true. Then we'll get into the gritty reality of survival, explore some truly bizarre mating rituals, see what happens when our world collides with theirs, and wrap it all up with a lightning round of facts that are seriously stranger than fiction. All right, first up, let's tackle some of those facts about animals that we've all heard a million times. The kind of stuff that's so common, you just don't even think to question it. You know, we can't help it. We see animals and we try to map our own feelings onto them. We see a dog wagging its tail and we immediately think happy puppy. But in the actual language of dogs, that wag could mean anything from let's play to a serious warning sign of fear or aggression. It's a perfect example of how easily we get things wrong. Ah, that sound. You hear it and you instantly see it, right? That majestic MGM lion, Leo, letting out that huge roar before the movie starts. It's pure cinema. But what if I told you that whole thing is a lie? Yup, turns out, when the studio was putting that famous intro together, they thought a real lion's roar just didn't have enough oomph. So they swapped in a tiger's roar instead. Can you believe it? The king of the jungle has been lip-syncing for nearly 100 years. And it's not just the lion. That powerful scream you always hear from a bald eagle in movies? Nope, that's a red-tailed hawk. They just dub it in because it sounds cooler. And the myths go beyond just sounds. We think snakes are slimy, but their skin is totally dry. We imagine bulls flying into a rage at the color red, but they can't even really see it. They're just charging at the guy waving a cloth around. But, you know, these myths are just the tip of the iceberg. Once you look past all the stories we've made up, the real life of these animals is, well, it's a lot weirder and way, way tougher than anything we could invent. So check out the naked mole rat. These things live in these super crowded underground tunnels, and that environment has forced them to evolve in some really wild ways. For instance, its nervous system has basically learned to just turn off certain kinds of pain, like the burn you'd get from acid or chili peppers. But here's the kicker, the thing that has scientists totally fascinated. In their natural habitat, they are pretty much cancer-proof. Yeah, figuring out how they do that, that could be a huge game changer for human medicine. And then you have the ocean sunfish. Its life is just a whole different kind of struggle. It's this long, slow, and kind of tragic existence. I mean, just imagine, you lay 300 million eggs, knowing that almost none of them will make it. You're a walk-in hotel for over 40 kinds of parasites, and you're so slow that predators don't even bother to finish the job. They just take a bite and leave you to drift on, wounded, for maybe 100 years. So if just staying alive is that insane, you can probably guess that making more animals is even crazier. We are talking about some serious deception, wild self-sacrifice, and biological tools that sound like they're straight out of science fiction. Okay, let's talk about the anglerfish. The male is this tiny little guy, not even an inch long. His whole purpose in life is just to find a female on the huge dark ocean. And when he finally does, he bites her, and then his body literally fuses into hers. He just dissolves away until only his testes are left, basically becoming a permanent sperm backpack for her. Wild. The damselfly's mating ritual? Oh man, it's less like a date and more like a covert mission. For the male, it's not good enough to just be her newest mate. No. Before he deposits his own sperm, he has this special tool on his body that he uses to literally scoop out the sperm from any guy who was there before him. It's an incredible and honestly pretty brutal way to make sure his kids are the ones who get born. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, we have bedbugs. And this isn't courtship. It's called traumatic insemination for a reason. The male uses a sharp, stabbing organ to just pierce the female's body and inject sperm right into her abdomen. It's one of the most violent ways to reproduce in all of nature. You know, how we see animals isn't just about fun facts. When we get it wrong, our misunderstandings can lead to some absolutely massive real-world consequences. We're talking about chaos that can last for generations. Get this, back in 1859, one guy in Australia lets 24 rabbits go so he can hunt them. He probably thought, what's the harm? Well, with no natural predators, that tiny decision set off an ecological time bomb. By 1870, there were millions of them. Today, more than 165 years later, Australia is still fighting a war that all started with just 24 rabbits. And this isn't just an environmental problem. We're talking about a huge financial hit. That one guy's simple wish to do a bit of hunting now costs the Australian economy over $200 million every single year. It's a crazy reminder of just how fragile these ecosystems really are. All right, to finish things off, let's do a quick lightning round of a few more facts that prove the animal kingdom is just stranger than anything we could ever make up. Here's a great one. We all picture polar bears as white, right? The symbol of the Arctic. But under all that fluffy, translucent fur, their skin is jet black. It's a perfect adaptation to absorb every last bit of heat from the sun. How about this? That little snail you see in your garden? Its tongue is basically a conveyor belt covered with over 14,000 teeth. Suddenly not so slow and harmless, is it? And then, for the grand finale of weirdness, the sea cucumber. It uses its anus for just about everything. It breathes through it, it poops through it, and if it gets scared, it can violently shoot its own internal organs out of its butt to distract a predator. And then, it just grows them back. You cannot make this stuff up. This one still blows my mind every time I hear it. You know that chicken pecking at the ground? It is the closest living relative to the Tyrannosaurus rex. Yeah, genetics proved it. The king of the dinosaurs and a barnyard animal. It's just an amazing look at the bizarre path of evolution. So, what does all this tell us? I think it shows that the natural world is so much more bizarre, more brutal, and more incredible than we usually give it credit for. It really makes you wonder, if this is the stuff we're learning about animals we thought we knew, what other unbelievable truths are still out there just waiting to be discovered?